In the above example, the King James Version translators added 7 italicized words to their English translation, which are not found in the source Hebrew manuscripts. Why does the Book of Mormon, which is supposed to have been completed by Moroni over 1,400 years prior, contain the exact identical 7 italicized words of 17th century translators? The Book of Mormon includes mistranslated Bible passages that were later changed in Joseph Smith's translation of the Bible. These Book of Mormon verses should match the inspired Joseph Smith translation version instead of the incorrect King James Version that Joseph later fixed. A typical example of the differences between the Book of Mormon and the King James Version and the Joseph Smith translation is Christ's Sermon on the Mount in the Bible and the Book of Mormon are identical, but Joseph Smith later corrected the Bible. In doing so, he also contradicted the same identical Sermon on the Mount passage in the Book of Mormon. The Book of Mormon is the most correct book and was translated a mere decade before the Joseph Smith translation. The Book of Mormon was not corrupted over time and did not need correcting. How is it that the Book of Mormon has the incorrect Sermon on the Mount passage and does not match the correct Joseph Smith translation version in the first place? Question 4. DNA analysis has concluded that Native American Indians do not originate from the Middle East or from Israelites, but rather from Asia. Why did the Church change the following section of the introduction page in the 2006 edition Book of Mormon shortly after the DNA results were released? Quote, the Lamanites, and they are the principal ancestors of the American Indians. 2, quote, the Lamanites, and they are among the ancestors of the American Indians, end quote. Update. The Church conceded in its January 2014 Book of Mormon and DNA Studies essay that the majority of Native Americans carry largely Asian DNA. The Church, through this essay, makes a major shift in narrative from its past dominant narrative and claims of the origins of the Native American Indians. Question number 5. Anachronisms. Horses, cattle, oxen, sheep, swine, goats, elephants, wheels, chariots, wheat, silk, steel, and iron did not exist in pre-Columbian America during Book of Mormon times. Why are these things mentioned in the Book of Mormon as being made available in the Americas between 2200 BC and 421 AD? Unofficial apologists claim victories in some of these items, but closer inspection reveals significant problems. It has been documented that apologists have manipulated wording so that steel is not steel, sheep become never domesticated bighorn sheep, horses become tapirs, etc. Number 6, archaeology. There's absolutely no archaeological evidence to directly support the Book of Mormon or the Nephites and Lamanites, who were supposed to have numbered in the millions. This is one of the reasons why unofficial apologists have developed the limited geography model. It happened in Central or South America, and claim that the Hill Cumorah mentioned as the final battle of the Nephites is not in Palmyra, New York, but is elsewhere. This is in direct contradiction to what Joseph Smith and other prophets have taught. It also makes little sense in light of the church's visitor center near the Hill Cumorah in New York and the annual church-sponsored Hill Cumorah pageants. We read about 2 major war battles that took place at the Hill Cumorah: Ramah to the Jaredites, with deaths numbering in the tens of thousands. The last battle between Lamanites and Nephites around 400 AD claimed at least 230,000 deaths on the Nephite side alone. No bones, hair, chariots, swords, armor, or any other evidence of a battle whatsoever has been found at this site. John E. Clark, director of BYU's archaeological organization, wrote in the Journal of Book of Mormon Studies, quote, "In accord with these general observations about New York and Pennsylvania, we come to our principal object, the hill Cumorah. Archaeologically speaking, it is a clean hill. No artifacts, no walls, no trenches, no arrowheads. The area immediately surrounding the hill is similarly clean. Pre-Columbian people did not settle or build here. This is not the place of Mormon's last stand. We must look elsewhere for that hill." End quote. Compare this with the archaeological evidence of other hillside battle sites. Cerro Hill Fort in the Wales capital of Cardiff was found to have abundant archaeological evidence of inhabitants and weapons of war dating as far back as 3600 BC in the form of stone arrowheads, tools, and pottery. Compare the absent evidence of Book of Mormon civilizations to the archaeological remains of other past civilizations, such as the Roman occupation of Britain and other countries. There are abundant evidences of their presence during the first 400 years AD, such as villas, mosaic floors, public baths, armor, weapons, writing, art, pottery, and so on. Even the major road systems used today in some of these occupied countries were built by the Romans. Additionally, there is ample evidence of the Mayan and Aztec civilizations, as well as a civilization in current-day Texas that dates back at least 15,000 years. Another recent discovery has been made of a 14,000-year-old village in Canada. Admittedly, absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. But where are the Nephite or Lamanite buildings, roads, armors, swords, pottery, art, etc.? How can these great civilizations just vanish without a trace? Latter-day Saint Thomas Stewart Ferguson was the founder of BYU's Archaeology Division, New World Archaeological Foundation. The NWAF was financed by the LDS Church. NWAF and Ferguson were tasked by BYU and the church in the 1950s and 60s to find archaeological evidence to support the Book of Mormon. After 17 years of diligent effort, this is what Ferguson wrote in a February 20th, 1976 letter about trying to dig up evidence for the Book of Mormon. Quote, "You can't set Book of Mormon geography down anywhere because it is fictional and will never meet the requirements of the dirt archaeology. I should say, what is in the ground will never conform to what is in the book." End quote. Number 7, Book of Mormon geography. Many Book of Mormon names and places are strikingly similar to many local names and places of the region where Joseph Smith lived. The following 2 maps show Book of Mormon geography compared to Joseph Smith's geography. The first map is the proposed map, constructed from the internal comparisons in the Book of Mormon.